All right, 2014 Chevy Tahoe, 6L80E transmission, and I just wanted to share this problem with you guys. The scenario goes like this. I get a call from a regular customer that comes here, no move condition, all of a sudden his Tahoe stopped moving. So we send a flatbed out, get it back here. You know, we do our checks, fluid level, codes, this and that. Everything, of course, is pointed to the transmission, no codes present. So we pull the transmission out, and I get on the bench. I'm thinking, you know, converter, pump problem, something like that. Pull the transmission apart, open up the pump, and the pump rotor is shattered. So there's your no move condition. You can see also when we pulled the converter out, the converter neck was scored up, so we knew right away something, you know, was going on with the pump. And it's fairly common for these 6L80s pumps to go bad or to be scored up to the point where you really, you know, don't want to use it over again. And what I usually do is when I get one of these transmissions and the pump is questionable, I get a new bell housing, because that basically is the pump. You can also get rotor kits, stator. You know, it's not cheap. Even the rotor kit, you got to measure the thickness of the rotor, and the rotor kit's about $100. But this was, you know, totally wiped out. Nothing was usable. So I call Transtar to see what they have. They have the main thing is the bell housing, and they're out of the bell housing. They got zeros across the board. I call the dealer, and they even have trouble getting the bell housing. Something obviously is going on. I don't know if they're on back order, they just got released, I'm not sure, but I really didn't have that kind of time to wait. So I had called another supplier that I deal with, that I get some parts from, some used parts from. And the used stuff, you know, it's good, it's like new. So I give them the casting number, and they check stock. They said they have it, and they're telling me about it. They upgrade their pressure regulator valve with the Transgo. I said, okay, well, it sounds good. It's about $300 for the whole thing. I said, send it out, because, you know, I got this live job and I really need to get it done. So I get it the next day. I open it up. You know, it looks good. It's nice and smooth in here, and the surfaces are nice and smooth. So, you know, I clean it up. I do the bushings, do seals. Put the transmission back together. Of course, every time I do a 6L80, I do a new tech-up, program it, and send the guy on his way. It's working nice when it left here. About 2 weeks after that, I get a call from him and say, you know, the transmission is slipping. You start off from a red light, it feels like it drops out of gear, goes back in gear. And he said, he said, there's something wrong. I said, so get it back in here. He's actually in the next town over, you know, real nice guy. So we bring it back in, he leaves it with us, and sure enough, exactly what he's describing is what's happened. Check the fluid level's full. So first thing I want to do is drop the pan. Drop the pan, save the fluid, because the fluid, again, is cherry red. It's about 2 weeks old. And looking at the filter, well, when we had the pan down, you know, I'm looking at the filter, and I could see the filter, which I have here to show you, is split open. And I said, let me see the filter. Maybe it's an aftermarket filter. And I'm looking at the filter, and it says right on it, AC Delco, because when I order the parts, you know, I want the good stuff. So I said it didn't have this problem before. It came in with a bad pump. We changed the pump. That was really the only hard part that we changed. I said, there's something going on. So I start researching on the internet, and I also belong to a tech service called ATSG, and I go on their site and I start researching their bulletins, and sure enough, I find a bulletin with that describes the exact problem with the cracked sump filter. And basically what is going on, the reason why that happened is the pump is creating pressure spikes because of a cross leak. So it must be a pretty bad cross leak. And I'm telling you, this pump, good used pump that I got, looked perfect. So anytime you get these jobs coming back on you, you definitely learn things from them. And one thing I learned from this is I would never buy another good used pump again. I mean, I'm sure it was a match set. I'm not sure what the cross leak was, but lesson learned there. I'll never buy another good used pump again. So what I actually ended up doing is I found a machinist in Georgia who machines these bell housings and stators. So this is one that he did that I want to show you. The thing is absolutely gorgeous. And the second one he did for me is in the guy's Tahoe, and I haven't heard from him since. And this happened probably more than a month ago. You know, the first time we went out, 2 weeks, we get it back, and with this problem. So you gotta, you know, there's something going on, especially if it didn't have this problem before. So once I see what's going on with the pump and you know, this stuff has a cross leak, you know, I don't want to call this guy and say, hey, you know, because now I'm kind of stuck because I don't really have any more. Or I actually did have another set. This is the second set. I took another 6L80 apart, and that pump was bad also. It's pretty common for these to be bad. So I find a machinist in Georgia. I call him up, who machines these 6L80 pumps. Well, actually, I messaged him. He messaged me back his phone number. We had a nice conversation for a while, so I decided to send him 2 bell housings, 2 stators to get machined, very reasonable. And I got there fairly quickly, too. I had a big box because I just bought a bunch of Mobil 1 synthetic oil for my BMW from Walmart, and they sent a huge box when they sent the oil. So I used that actually to put 2 bell housings and 2 stators in, and I shipped it out from a UPS store local to my house. Wednesday night, got there Friday afternoon. All right, he ended up machining them over the weekend, shipped them back to me, and it really wasn't that bad of a turnaround time going to Georgia. And put everything back together, put all the valves back in the pump, back in the car, and again, haven't heard from the guy since. So either you got to go new or you got to go machined. I would really never go used again from that. And like I said, that's one thing when you get a job back, you know, you tend to learn from it. So I want to give you a close-up shot of this. So from the pump, I didn't really talk to him to ask him how far out it was or anything like that. He did his thing, he sent them back, but if you see, you know, these things split open like this, you know you got definitely a cross leak, a wicked cross leak in the pump. And I guess what it was doing, you know, the filter was probably sucking air, the thing was falling out of speed, and I'm lucky that the rotor, you know, didn't really go bad again, you know, from the air getting in there and the way this thing was working. So what I want to do is give you a close-up shot of this filter. It's split all along here, split right open. I want to give you a close-up here of the machine. So now I have a set that I always have in stock that I can rotate. So the next 6L80 we have in, the casting numbers, as long as the casting numbers match up, which I believe, I don't think there's too many different bell housings. I think Corvette is different, but I think this is the popular one because it's out of a Tahoe. I would use this, send that out to him for machining. So I always have a set in stock, a rotating set. If I come across 6L80s, you know, cores that people give me, that would be great because I can send more around and get them done. So I want to give you a close-up shot of real nice machine job here, and again of the filter, and I just wanted to share the problem with you guys of a split filter, what causes it, and it is the pump. All right, so let me just get a little closer here. I'll show you this stuff. And I just wanted to make this quick video for you guys. Give me 1 second. Let me get a little closer. Okay. First, here is the, what can I get here? Let me just get a screwdriver here. Let me show you this split filter. You know, that's kind of what it looked like, you know, when I was looking at it. I said, something's with that filter when I saw it sticking up in there. And if you look at it, you know, this whole thing was just split right open. all the way down. And again, you know, when I get these filters, I say, make sure you send me an AC Delco filter. Okay, so here is the stator. You know, you gotta take the support out, the shaft out, and it comes out, doesn't have to be pressed out, it comes out very easily. Take the bolts out. What I do is just kind of tap it around to loosen it up, and then give it a shot, and it comes right out. Don't really press it out or press it back in or anything like that, but this is the stator. I mean, this is real nice here. No valves in it at all. I take everything out and send it to him this way I can clean it all up and put all the valves back in. I got that in a box on the shelf that goes with this stuff here. I got everything else also. So that is the stator, and this is the bell housing / pump. All right, if you're going to buy this new from the dealer, it's probably about $160. I always like to do a new bushing, so I got this ready to go for the next one that we get in here. You know, I clean it all up for him, and then he does his thing and ships it back to me. So, real nice job. So either on these 6L80s, either you get these machined or you gotta go new. And you know, and if your rotor and stuff is okay, that's great, you can use it over. If this portion, you know, the stator is smooth and it's really, you know, no problems here, you can probably even use that over. But if you're gonna get these machined, I would have both pieces done. If you're gonna go for the new bell housing, you know, just make sure this piece is okay. But, because I've done that in the past, you know, when there was some marks here that made it questionable, and I really didn't want to use it, so I got the new bell housing. But if these were okay, what I do is I would take it all apart and give it a nice flat sand with a stone, and it would work out okay. But when we got the catastrophic damage, you know, like the thing is just totally shattered and you know, there's gouges out in here. There's really nothing that you can do other than to either have it machined or get new. So I certainly don't recommend going used. I know I'll never do that again. You know, I was kind of in a hurry trying to get this thing done, so the downtime of his car was not really that bad. But that was definitely a mistake on my part. And again, either you go new or you go machined. So this is it, and this goes for the 6L80, the 6L90, you know, any of the 6 series, you know, in the Beamers and in the Caddies, they have the 6L45, the 6L50, you know, pretty much the same thing. But really the 6L80s and the 6L90s is where I see the big problems with the pumps. You know, I've done plenty of 6L45s and BMWs, and they're basically pretty good. They're really not that bad. You know, the pumps are good. I never really had to get a bell housing or anything for a BMW 6L45. 6L80s, you know, for some reason is the problem. The pressure regulator valve goes in here in this train, and again, I always go with the Transgo valve. Also, this particular machinist in Georgia can do the oversized valve for an additional, but I've been using the Transgo valve and I really never had a problem. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, the car was a 2014 Chevy Tahoe, and it originally came in with a blown pump. To try to get the job out quickly, I got a good used setup, which was no good from minute one, because 2 weeks later, it came back with a blown filter, split filter. I sent them out to get machined, problem solved. So again, I learned a lot from this one, and if you can't get new, then you gotta go machine. All right, so I guess that is about it on this. I thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next one.